Look, this situation is starting to spiral, and at this point, someone really needs to clear up what's actually happening. It feels like every other week, Drake's name gets pulled into another headline, whether it's unreleased tracks somehow finding their way online, internet personalities trying to tie him to crypto drama, or now a former girlfriend jumping on a podcast to reveal personal stories. And before we get too deep into this, Drake, are we really supposed to believe people are walking into that Toronto mansion without signing an NDA? That just doesn't add up to me. I have to admit, this entire story caught me by surprise. Just yesterday, people were flooding me with messages saying, "You need to talk about this Drake situation." And my first thought was, there's no way I'm falling for this. I assumed it was just another situation where someone couldn't move on, decided to air out old memories, and hoped the attention would follow once Drake kept it pushing. That's usually the pattern we've seen before. But after I sat through the full interview and actually paid attention to everything that was said, my perspective started changing. Because trust me, something about this felt different. And you won't believe this, even a part of me is wondering if this entire situation unfolded exactly the way Drake expected it to. And Drake, my guy, you may want to slow down on the milk for a minute, because as Dr. Umar always jokes, white women never, black women forever. And you already knew social media was going to drag that quote right back into the conversation.
Snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
These white women keep finding a way to bring controversy right to Drake's doorstep, yet somehow he always seems to end up back in the middle of the same cycle. We've already seen the internet go into a frenzy over situations like the Bobby Althoff drama. And now a brand new chapter has everyone talking after one of Drake's former girlfriends, Suede Brooks, sat down on the Dumb Blonde podcast and opened up about everything, from how they first connected to what ultimately caused the relationship to fall apart. If you want the full story straight from the source, you can check out the complete Dumb Blonde podcast episode on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because that's where every detail being discussed originated.
That happened with you and Drake, because I know there's so many rumors around there that are always flying about like you and Drake.
So basically, I was staying on my friend's boat and her father had hired Drake to come to the boat and throw a party in Saint-Tropez, and Drake had never been to Saint-Tropez. And so he came on the boat, he came with his friends. It was amazing. He's such a great guy.
Yeah. Did you and Drake ever hook up? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yeah, I mean, we did.
Okay.
And he's great.
Yeah. Would you ever, are you guys
really-
still friends or?
I haven't spoken to him in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to speak to a lot of my like prior flings or like or men that I've dated in my past. Like once you lose me, I'm gone.
So he lost you.
He did indeed.
What did he do? Give us the tea.
The moment that really made me stop and think was when she started speaking as if Drake was the one who walked away with the bigger loss. Wait a minute. What exactly is she talking about when she says he fumbled her? We're talking about one of the biggest entertainers in the world. So what is Drake saying behind the scenes that has these women believing they're the one who got away instead of just another chapter in the story? I'm not saying that to throw any disrespect at anyone, but you could probably visit just about any upscale shopping center or popular neighborhood and meet plenty of women with a similar look and lifestyle. That's what makes this situation so interesting, because whatever Drake is doing behind closed doors seems to leave a far deeper impact than most people watching from the outside would ever imagine.
I'm like, what didn't he do?
I mean, he's Drake. You know? He doesn't strike me as a man that can have like a solid relationship, you know, because he's Drake.
And he's also just like so talented and so busy in what he does and lives like he lives such a big, fulfilled, busy life. That,
How long did you and Drake date?
We dated, I would say like on and off for a few months.
Really?
I would go see him in Toronto and and then One day I was like, I'm tired of this.
Was it just because he had other girls, or was it like, was he just not honest? Like, there had to have been something that made you be like, you know what, I don't want to talk to this man again.
I think it was definitely like honesty.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's tough. I mean, especially when you're dating somebody of that caliber and with that power.
Let's keep it 100 for a second. Does anybody seriously believe Drake was only entertaining one woman during that time? To be honest, we're talking about one of the most famous people on the planet, so the idea that she was the only one in the picture just doesn't seem very believable. That's why some of these stories catch me off guard, because it feels much more likely there were other situations before they crossed paths, while they were seeing each other, and even after everything ended. Whether people agree with it or not, that's usually the reality that comes with someone operating at Drake's level of fame, and it's hard to picture either person truly thinking they were the only one involved.
I was very scared for my safety and
this is the point where I have to look at Drake and say, bro, you've got to be a lot more selective about who you allow into your life. The moment someone says, I feared for my safety, people immediately stop scrolling. And when a statement like that gets connected to someone with Drake's level of celebrity, things can escalate before anyone even knows the full context. For any high-profile black superstar, especially someone worth millions, that kind of accusation has the potential to spark massive headlines, invite intense public scrutiny, and put their reputation under pressure long before all the facts come out. That's why stories like this go way beyond ordinary internet drama, because once those kinds of allegations start spreading, you won't believe how difficult it becomes to take control of the narrative again.
Things for a long time living in LA. The things he said to me were very alarming when I was 21 or 22 at the time.
This is the part where I honestly feel like Drake keeps falling into the exact same pattern. My brother, at some point you've got to stop chasing women who are barely stepping into adulthood, because constantly dating people in that 21 to 26 age range seems to do nothing but invite unnecessary controversy. Fair or unfair, people in completely different stages of life usually want different things, and that's often when situations like this begin to unravel. If I had one piece of advice for Drake, it'd be straightforward. Start looking for someone with a little more life experience, because these headlines keep coming back, and the cycle doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon.
Hear those things said to you about coming from the most powerful artist in the world that has so much power and can do things, the unimaginable, within the snap of a finger. It was very scary.
At this stage, I'm looking at Drake and saying, bro, you've really got to pay attention to the way this story is being presented. The language starts to feel very deliberate, casting him as the larger-than-life celebrity while positioning her as the person with far less influence in the relationship. And whether that's by design or not, that kind of framing gets people talking almost instantly. Once those narratives hit social media, they can carry a lot of weight. And before you know it, everyone has already picked a side without hearing the full picture. That's exactly why public figures have to stay several steps ahead, because once the internet decides how a story is framed, changing public opinion becomes incredibly difficult, even after all the facts finally come out.
Some of the things that he said that would scare you like that. Because that's not cool. You're a baby.
I was 21. A baby.
Yeah.
And I still feel like a baby.
You are still a baby. 25 is a baby.
Yeah. I think I've just experienced
You've
a lot.
Lived so much life, girl. You're an old soul.
And I feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think also moving out at such a young age and being snapped into reality. But yeah, I don't really want to get into specifics because I hate bringing that stuff kind of back up.
Yeah.
But he is so talented. I know he has a great heart, and I wish him nothing but the best in his future. I hope he finds somebody that he loves and cherishes for the rest of his life. But it wasn't me, and it got to a point where it was almost like I physically and emotionally can't give you what you need, so I'm gonna step away.
Yeah.
And I kind of left it at that.
I mean, if he's saying things to scare you like that, you don't deserve that.
Well, that's where it was scary because
That's almost abusive.
especially with, like I said, somebody of that power.
Nah, Drake, this is one of those situations you simply can't brush off. The way this story is being presented starts making you look like this larger-than-life celebrity with all the influence, while she gets framed as the innocent person who just happened to get involved with one of the biggest stars in the world. And whether that's intentional or not, those are the exact kinds of details people lock onto almost immediately. Once that type of narrative starts spreading, public opinion can shift fast, and you won't believe how quickly people begin treating assumptions like they're proven facts. That's why I'm saying, Drake, you've got to stay aware of how these stories are constructed. Because once the internet embraces a particular version of events, convincing people to see it differently becomes a very difficult fight.
Messages that he's gonna have bitches fold me up.
Bang, we got him. And with that right there, the case is closed, ladies and gentlemen.
Verbatimly, that's what he said. I was like,
For what
oh, I'm gonna
reason,
lock
though?
my... It was all miscommunication. He thought I was saying something that I didn't. And
Did he think you were talking to the press?
no, he thought I was talking like shit about him in LA when I never was.
So that
And I've-
gives him grounds to say that he's going to have bitches fold you up.
Literally verbatimly. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I didn't leave. I'm not kidding you. Babe, I did not leave my house for like 3 months. I didn't step outside. Like, I didn't like go out at least. Because like I was scared because especially somebody of that power. And I know I've grown a lot from it and I know he's grown a lot from it. I think also during that time it was emotional for both of us because it was just like a big miscommunication. But
Drake, my guy, this is exactly why you've got to think twice about the words and catchphrases you throw around. When the same expressions keep showing up in different situations, it becomes a whole lot easier for people to connect the dots and create a bigger story around them than what may have actually happened. That's what makes this stand out, because the phrase, "I'll fold you up," is already something many people link to Drake, so hearing it surface again was always going to catch the internet's attention. From that point on, whether people treat it as a serious issue or completely exaggerated, social media is going to take off with the story. And that's the kind of unnecessary spotlight no major celebrity wants on their name.
So where? So what then? So what then, big dog? Don't look away now, pussy. Don't look away now. Don't look away now. Don't get shy now. We'll fold that up right now. Nerd.
Even if every single story she shared during that podcast ended up being completely untrue, there's still one specific phrase that would instantly grab people's attention because it makes listeners wonder if there's a deeper connection. It's almost like a recognizable trademark that people immediately associate with someone, and once that happens, the internet starts creating its own version of the story regardless of what the actual evidence says. That's exactly why I keep telling Drake, you've gotta be far more intentional with the words you use. If those alleged text messages are authentic, why send something that could be viewed as a threat when you already know anything tied to a celebrity can become front-page news overnight? From a public image perspective, that's the kind of situation that can escalate before you even have a chance to respond, especially when your every move is already being watched. Then the conversation grows even larger because people start wondering what else might have happened behind closed doors despite having no proof to back up those assumptions. That's how online speculation works. It starts with one allegation and suddenly turns into a much bigger narrative that takes on a life of its own. We've even seen creators like Trap Lore Ross discuss alleged links between Drake and well-known street figures, which naturally adds even more fuel to the conversations spreading across social media. And in today's environment, where major celebrities are constantly dealing with public scrutiny and legal attention, you'd think every text, every conversation, and every decision would be made with extra caution. At the end of the day, though, these are still allegations, and it's only fair that every side has the opportunity to be heard before anyone rushes to judgment. Personally, I don't expect Drake or his legal team to respond publicly to every accusation, because sometimes answering a story only gives it even more momentum than it had in the first place. If there's one takeaway from all of this, it's that someone with Drake's level of fame has to move smarter, choose their words carefully, and avoid anything that can be easily misinterpreted or turned into unnecessary controversy. But that's just how I see it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Suede Brooks was telling the truth by speaking out after the relationship ended? Or do you think there's still much more to this story than we've heard so far?